Everybody's attention in Kenya at the moment is focused on the expected swearing in of Raila Odinga and the consequences thereafter. Yeah, which is okay. But the problem is, while we're so focused on that, many Kenyans are ignoring other game-changing, earth-shattering developments in our politics. One such very fascinating development concerns Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. Now, according to the deal, Uhuru Kenyatta was supposed to support William Ruto this time as he goes for the 2022 presidency. Anatakiwa arudishe mkono because Ruto has supported him to the hilt, yeah, right from 2013. Okay? But what are Uhuru handlers doing instead? What is the president doing instead? Instead is moving and causing up very close with Ruto's political rival, Gideon Moi. And to keen political observers, it is extremely clear now that as far as 2022 is concerned, Ruto is on his own. Indeed, in all likelihood, the Mount Kenya faction of Jubilee are going to have their own candidate. Now, this is how most analysts are analyzing the politics, yeah, around 2022 politics and the politics around Uhuru Kenyatta and the Jubilee Party, yeah. But I put it to you, they are all wrong. It's all the wrong approach because it does not take into consideration one very, very important factor, okay? And that factor, I'll put in a very simple question, yeah. How did Uhuru Kenyatta become president? Yeah, answer that question and you'll realize that that analysis is fatally flawed. The truth, the whole naked truth, is that Uhuru Kenyatta became president because of William Ruto. Okay? If William Ruto had not burst into the scene, Uhuru would never have been president. It's really as simple as that. Indeed, Bwana Ruto considers the presidency as his own. Yeah, he considers, he claims ownership on the Uhuru presidency because he created it, and that's a fact. Let me very quickly remind you what happened. Okay, now Kibaki in leaving power had already chosen his heir apparent, yeah, who was a man called Musalia Mudavadi. Okay, this had been taken to close consideration considering what had happened in 2007, and the whole idea was to get a neutral person to heal the nation. Yes, and it was obvious at that time that the last thing anybody wanted was a president from any of the communities that were heavily involved or rather right at the center of the 2007-2008 clashes that claimed so many Kenyan lives. And of course that made a lot of sense, yes. But here comes along William Ruto, yeah, using his manipulation skills, yeah. He managed to change the whole story into the story of the ICC victims, yeah. Created a lot of sympathy around himself and Uhuru Kenyatta, and we know what happened next, okay? Okay, in retrospect now we know that actually they didn't win those elections, yes. We now know that actually those elections were manipulated, yes, in their favor, yeah. And in retrospect, we can also now realize that the careful calculations of Mwai Kibaki and his handlers, yeah, went wrong because when Ruto came in, yes, he kind of deducted some votes, yeah, from this union between himself and Uhuru. Yeah, let me explain. The whole idea behind the Kibaki handlers was that Musalia Mudavadi was going to be the candidate, yes, fully supported by Uhuru Kenyatta and his supporters, fully supported by William Ruto and his supporters, yes. And as well, on top of that, and this is going to be a shock to many of you, also fully supported by Kalonzo Musyoka and the Akamba community. Now on paper, that was a winning team. Yeah, no need for manipulation of votes. That was just a winning team. Now the Ruto-Uhuru alliance caused a few problems. One, it meant that the Luhya vote was no longer in the basket. okay? And then secondly, Bwana Kalonzo Musyoka walked away in a half, yes? Bwana Kalonzo Musyoka, of course, is a lawyer, and according to him, yes, he did not believe that it was possible for people indicted at the ICC to become president and deputy president of Kenya. Yes, the whole world international community would not only frown on this, they'd be appalled. Yeah, and then of course Musalia also walked out. Yeah, so the Luhya vote now was also no longer in the basket. But Ruto could not be stopped. Okay, and he forced things and he forced things, and it just had to work. You will now understand why Deputy President William Ruto was so emotional at a church service shortly after the swearing in, yeah, or was it shortly before the swearing in, when he knew for sure that they were president and deputy president. Yeah, he just broke into tears. Yeah, and the thing was captured on national television, and people are saying, oh, Ruto is very emotional. Okay, and maybe he is, but the main point here is that the guy had actually fought the battle of a lifetime, yeah, to make what happened happen. Many times the president himself doubted, yeah, Uhuru Kenyatta doubted many times whether this thing, they were really going to be able to pull off this thing, yeah, and William Ruto was always there encouraging him, yeah, a lot of times telling him what to say, yeah, that's the truth, yeah. A lot of time pushing him forward, telling him we can do it, encouraging him, motivating him, etc., etc. I think now anybody with doubts as to the statement I had made earlier will agree with me fully that the Uhuru Kenyatta presidency actually belongs to William Ruto. He owns it. He was the major shareholder, he was the instigator, he was the everything. Now William Ruto is human. So you can imagine what William Ruto felt towards the end of 2016 when he was told, weka kando kidogo, step aside. Yeah, we want to organize for the re-election. You should have your own campaign separately. Yeah, and the president has his own campaign separately. You can get an idea of what he felt when he was told, you're the deputy president. Weka kwa lane yako. Yeah, don't come into the president's lane. And now, after everything that has happened in the August elections, in the ill-fated August elections, yeah, something the country has not yet recovered from, and nobody has any idea when the country will recover from this election mode, yeah. After all that, what does Uhuru Kenyatta do? He pulls Ruto's fiercest, most bitter rival closer to himself, yeah. Gideon Moi is suddenly the main point man in the Rift Valley. You can imagine what William Ruto must be feeling. Now we know the KANU party had a pact with Jubilee before the elections, and therefore it stands to reason that we expect quite a number of appointments, yeah, to be from the KANU side. Now the truth is that DP Ruto's people have been complaining for a very long time, okay? But the latest complaints, I think, are much more serious than the earlier ones. Now, Kenyans know lawyer Donald Kipkorir, controversial lawyer, and they know that when that man opens his mouth to speak, he speaks for DP Ruto. Yeah, the two are very close. They've been close for very, very many years. Now, previously, this is the man who was doing all the whining. Yeah, but now things have dramatically changed. There's a close aide of Ruto called Farouk Kibet. Now, this is what Farouk told KTN News recently, okay, and I quote, "We are aware of plans to ensure Gideon Moi close confidence are strategically placed within government for ulterior motives." Farouk goes on to say, "Gideon is fronting someone as a state house comptroller, despite us suggesting David Chirchir. We cannot allow him to scuttle DP's chances just because he comes from the first family." End of quote. Now, we all know how shaky the Jubilee government already is, okay? And the truth is, if anything goes wrong with this alliance with DP Ruto, that will be the end of the Jubilee government. Yeah, that should be obvious. Now, it is very interesting that a prophetic word from one of the prophecies, there have been a lot of prophecies over this election, Yeah, but prophetic word, actually more than one prophetic word, yeah, mentioned Ruto as doing something very drastic that will change the whole game. But let us put prophecy aside for a while and just look at the politics. Yeah, what is actually happening here is that Jubilee are very, very vulnerable. Yeah, and they're vulnerable to something very crazy happening within Jubilee that could completely change the whole ball game. And the way tensions are high even within Jubilee, it suggests that this drama could happen even before NASA finish the whole game, play their last card in their battle against Jubilee. Yeah, that's what it suggests. Now in the next episode in this series, we'll go a little deeper into this, and I'll explain to you exactly why, yeah, something must give. Yeah, this Ruto Uhuru push and pull, something has to give, and that something has to give very soon. I'll explain exactly why. Yeah, you know the usual drill. Top left hand corner, look out for that link, click on it, and you'll be there. This is Chris Kumekucha.